Let's move on to the big, beautiful bill, which now the Democrats have come out with their own name for, the big, ugly bill, which is not clever. And it doesn't work in an alliteration way. Like, you've got to try harder. Dan, tell them they have to try harder. But what's happening around this bill is interesting because Elon came out and said this is an abomination, and he's going after it hard. Said, like, I can't hold it in any longer. I've got to say how I feel. It's awful. It's full of pork. I hate it. And the White House is saying, we know he doesn't like it, and really Trump doesn't care, is really what they're saying. It's passed. It's gotten through the House. It hasn't yet passed the Senate. But here's exactly what Musk posted yesterday. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. It will massively increase the already gigantic budget deficit to $2.5 trillion, triple exclamation point, and burden American citizens with crushingly unsustainable debt. Congress is making America bankrupt. In November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people, which in this particular case would mean virtually every single Republican in the House. And so far, we believe virtually every single one in the Senate who are likely prepared to pass this thing, though that's slightly uncertain. So what happens to the BBB? Who would like to take that one?
I'll go.
No,
I think it passes.
I don't blame you.
I mean, look, in the Senate, look, there's two camps in the Senate right now. You've got the spend more types, the Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, who want more assurances, especially on the Medicaid front. And then you've got the sort of deficit debt group, which is 4 or 5. I mean, notably Ron Johnson, Rand Paul, Rick Scott. I think, look, I think that this thing squeaks it out like it's supposed to, and then it goes back to the House. So far, what I've found been comforted in it is the Freedom Caucus, led by Andy Harris and several of those members, have not drawn a big line in the sand unless it's, hey, if you add more spending, we're going to have a problem. So right now, I think we're in a pretty good place. The bottom line is we have to extend those tax cuts, and that's what's costing, quote unquote, a lot of money. The way Washington works is that they say tax cuts cost money. So by extending the 2017 tax cuts, that is scored as a cost. The second thing is, and we played this on the morning meeting this morning, right now, and I have the exact numbers here, we spend $695 billion as a country on Medicare, $695 billion. If we keep going down the path with the reconciliation, we're going to spend $835 billion. That's a lot more. In Washington, though, if you don't get as much as you want, that's called a cut. The bottom line is $150 billion more in Medicaid is going to be spent under the House bill. There is no cut in the bill. And Republicans need to do a better job of articulating the importance of extending the tax cuts so that we don't have a tax increase. And secondly, what we're doing to reduce control spending and hopefully reduce the deficit. There's a bigger part of this with what they call the rescissions package, which is $9.5 billion in cuts. But these guys, they need to...
That rescissions package, forget the name, but basically it just says so far only 9.4 billion of the Doge cuts are being codified. But that's a pathetic amount. He was supposed to cut 1 trillion. Doge and Elon said they'd be cutting 1 trillion. 9.4 billion? Please, Congress spends that in the lunch hour. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. Look, Musk is mostly right on the merits. And I get why Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid fighting is a great story. It's interesting, and understanding their relationship's interesting. But unless Musk does more and a lot more, 3 realities that were true before he spoke out are still true. The bill must pass. He can't fail. Failure's not an option, or the Trump presidency is in huge trouble. So it will pass. 2 is that there's very few Republicans in the House and the Senate who might possibly vote no. We're talking about in both bodies, maybe 20. And this Musk didn't increase the number. And so they still have to round up most of those 20. And then lastly, the bill is not perfect. They'll have to sell it as the best thing ever, but it's not perfect. Some of Musk's criticisms are true. There's other things that are wrong with the bill from a public policy point of view, but they can't make it much better. If they did what Elon said, it wouldn't pass, because the votes aren't there to do what he wants to do. Because what he wants to do is interrupt the delicate balance that got it passed through the House and has it on track to pass the Senate.
Yeah, what he also wants to do is get his EV mandates put back in. I mean, let's not forget the personal part of this, which is I'm not happy because you guys screwed me.
Yeah,
we're cutting all these. I was just going to say we're cutting all these green energy incentives that were very popular under Democrats, and Trump is not into green energy at all. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, and he was very angry about this AI deal that was signed in the Middle East with Sam Altman as the lead, his kind of arch rival. So he's got some grievances, and I think so far, Megyn, no one has gone to war with Donald Trump in a primary and won. So unless Musk thinks that he can kind of square off with Donald Trump and defeat him in terms of proxies and primaries, we talked about this earlier this morning. I don't see any way that he actually moves the needle to have somebody say, I'm with Musk and not with Trump. And I think you have the CBO score just came out that 10.9 million people would lose Medicaid. So if you do what Musk wants, that number goes higher and the one card's out, the whole pile collapses. So I just don't see how it's stopped.
Because the thing about the Elon threats politically, like last November, was they had the implicit backing of Big Daddy. Like what was scary about that pairing was Elon's money and Trump's political might. But now, if forced to choose, as these Republicans in the House and or Senate may have to, they're going to listen to what Trump says, not what Elon says. Trump is the one who can really hurt them, not Elon.
100%. What we know now is Musk is good at business. When he teams with Trump, he's good at politics, but there's no indication he's good at politics by himself.
He's not even good at politics. He funds it. He pays for it. I mean, that's like saying, like, he's not it's like going to dinner.
He funded the Supreme Court race in Wisconsin, and he lost. He's just not that good at politics. He's good at a lot of stuff, but there's no indication he's particularly good at this.
That's right. That's the thing. So it's like, and what he's really threatening here clearly is to vote against all these. These are all Republicans. The Democrats are all going to vote against this. So he's when he's saying like they all need to be voted out. He's talking about Republicans. So does he really want to spend all of his money getting Republicans out of the Senate and out of the House? He hasn't gone that far around the bend. So I think that's an empty threat. And even if it's not going to scare these guys, because when Trump wants them to vote for this BBB, I think they're going to do it. I will say this from Stephen Miller, who works for the president, deputy assistant. He says, the BBB is not an appropriations bill. No, sorry, this is not the part I wanted to read. He writes the following. The lefty CBO says extending the 2017 tax cuts, preventing their expiration, increases the deficit. Some critics have seen this figure and claimed or implied the bill increases spending. Even according to the CBO, the bill cuts spending over $1.6 trillion. So when a libertarian, e.g. Rand Paul, attacks the deficit impact of the bill, they're attacking the tax cut. Honestly accounted, extending current tax rates has zero deficit impact, which is why the bill, because of its spending cuts, reduces the deficit. The bill has three principal sections: tax cuts, welfare reform, and immigration and border security. It is a dream bill. And really that piece of the border security is what is getting a lot of people on board, because Tom Homan has been jumping up and down saying, I need more money. If you really want me to start deporting people at the rates you're saying, I need more money. And that's in here. So I think that piece of it will be very popular. I still don't think it's going to change the deportation numbers dramatically. Does anybody disagree with me?
Yeah. Not dramatically, but incrementally and consistently. I mean, this is a 4-year project, and there's still lots of people they'd like to deport. They haven't gotten yet to the sort of the tougher choices of categories in a mass way that they'll have to make, but they certainly could to deport more people with more resources.
This administration is working very hard to try and fix this country. But while they're focused on fixing the country, they can't fix your personal finances. That's really up to you. And that's why thousands of Americans are turning to Birch Gold. In the past 12 months, the value of gold has risen by 30%. Think about that. How's your stock market investment doing? Has it gone up 30%? Have you made 30% on your money? And demand is strong and it's growing. While reports are that the BRICS nations are actively working to challenge the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency, that's not great. In other uncertain times, gold has offered peace of mind. And in these uncertain times, it does the same. Birch Gold makes it incredibly easy to convert your existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA backed by physical gold. Or if you prefer, you can buy gold to store in your own home safe. Just text MK to the number 989898, and Birch Gold will send you a free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, only useful information. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, take control of protecting your savings today. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.